Alright guys, Touchcom here, back again today. I've just got back from London, day one. I'm here in my hotel room. I'm just going to record this video, then going to head out for the night, because it was much better to make this video now than it was to make it tomorrow morning, because then I'd have to actually worry about getting up early. To those of you who I saw today at the event, thanks very much for saying hello. If I haven't seen you yet, feel free to do that tomorrow. A couple of things go around on Twitter. I was right in the middle of the crowd today. It was honestly a great time. It's difficult to say when you're in the crowd how good that looks from the perspective of a viewer at home, whether that they play the crowd so loud on stream or whatever. It was honestly a great environment. The crowd wasn't necessarily as big, and the way they organised it wasn't necessarily as good as last year. We were all kind of flat on the floor rather than being in a ramped formation, which was kind of better. They're using a different side of the stadium. So I feel like last year was kind of better. Then again, we've got two events this year. Can't expect quite as many people to turn up. Still a great time, especially the way the day ended, which we'll go into in the coming minutes. Like if you guys enjoy it, subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's hop right into it here. So a couple of things that came out on Twitter today. Sloth City, baby. Look how long my arm is. Actually, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? Anyway, let's go on to today's video. The crowd was good fun, so I was pretty much standing like right behind where this guy pretending to be Maven is. I was kind of here most of the time. You can have up top in the stands as well. You can get beers around about this kind of area. And then there was the challengers area going on behind it. So challenges, I want to talk about that in more depth tomorrow, but when we recap the entire event. But Singularity making a good run through the tournament. I believe they're playing Royal Ravens Academy squad as well. Team War are definitely up there. Train Hard are still up there, so definitely some big names on the challenger side doing well as well. But let's get right into the matches here. So this is a match that I missed. I wasn't quite at the event in time for this first game. That was Paris versus the New York Subliners, and based on how they had performed at the Minnesota event, you would have expected Paris to probably come out not necessarily guaranteed win, but definitely they were looking the stronger squad at Minnesota. But different teams play different levels of ability when they come up to play in a proper LAN tournament style environment. And Paris Legion just couldn't keep up with it here. This is only the scoreboard for map number 1. I will leave a link down below to where you can see all of the statistics from today, kindly put together by EasyMac. So fantastic spreadsheet he's put together. A few screenshots from that in this video, just looking at mainly the overall results, but also some statistics as well. So this is what it looked like in the first hardpoint. Subliners ended up winning it. Attach had a good map here as well. And yeah, difficult map here for Zed. They win the search and destroy pretty comfortably as well. Domination goes the other way. That's something you'll see a lot. Back in the day, the best teams in the game, or at least the better team in the series, used to be the one who would win the swing game mode. Like Uplink used to be won majority of the time by the better team, where search and destroy was kind of more 50-50. Whereas now quite often we'll see that the team that wins the domination actually ends up losing the series. Interesting to see how that dynamic works. Maybe domination isn't the most competitive game mode you could derive from that, but that's not necessarily the case. And then anyway, St. Petrograd Hardpoint pretty much a runaway from the New York Subliners. So impressive series win from them and set up an exciting series later in the day. Then we had this Empire versus the Seattle Surge. Very interesting matchup, of course. We've got Crimsix versus Karma. And Karma honestly played really damn good this series, I thought, on the whole, or at least he seemed to have some key moments. But look, Seattle as a team is just in a difficult spot right now. They get 3-0'd here by Dallas, but these maps were so close indeed. Like, this first map could have gone either way. Felt like Empire always had the edge. The map 2 definitely could have gone either way. And then you've got game number 3, 167 to 162, St. Petra domination. Like, this was super, super tight. So as the best of 5 series goes, pretty much as tight as you could hope to get. Illy drops 40 on the first map here. Hook is not far behind as well. So definitely some players that we didn't see perform too well at Minnesota turning up here on the side of Dallas. But yeah, Seattle Surge 0-3. Not what we were looking for them. And, I'm not sure this team can really be championship contending, just as a quick point. Like, obviously, Octane is fantastic, but I feel like they have too many players here that play a similar role. Like, I would keep Octane, Apathy, and Karma for sure, and I would probably keep Slacks, and I would think about an able spot on the team, because I feel like his role is kind of filled by what Karma brings to the table, by what Slacks brings to the table to some degree, but, Enable just doesn't seem to be putting up the numbers, especially in the Search and Destroy. Empire win that series. Then we've got Huntsman versus Gorillas. Grudge match on main stage here between Aches and the Chicago Huntsmen. Pretty damn comfortable for Huntsman on the whole. Map number 1, they ran away with in the end. St. Petro Search and Destroy. Lacefield actually turned up at a couple of key rounds, but still, I think it was 5-1 at some point. The Los Angeles Gorillas ended up, they had a good advantage, then they kind of threw it away on that St. Petrograd S&D. They lose that map. And then the Hackney domination was super, super close. This could have gone either way. Really intense map, honestly, of domination, but the Huntsman just about held on for the victory there to a 3-0 to set up a really, really spicy indeed Dallas versus Chicago Huntsman, a rematch that we saw at Minnesota. So exciting stuff, and I'm sure you've worked out how that that's gone from the title of the video, but we'll get into that in just a second here. Then the London Royal Ravens came to play, and this was so much fun to be in the crowd of, because before, when we had UK teams like Reciprocity and that, like, some people in the crowd would get behind them, but there wasn't an overarching incentive to be behind that team if you were like an OpTic fan or something like that. But this time, we really got, the whole crowd was behind it. It was a really fun atmosphere to be a part of, right? And, Toronto took a lot of it lightheartedly as well, which was good to see, because there's a lot of trash talk that goes on from UK crowds. There's no denying that. Map number 1, the Royal Ravens run away with it, and Whiskin, oh my word, was he, like, we were calling him MVP, like, he just dominated this map number 1, 37 and 18 was absolutely unprecedented, like, he just destroyed it, the search and destroy as well on Piccadilly, bit of a comeback here that Royal Ravens pulled off as well to end up winning this map, but they did go on and lose the gun run at domination. As I'm seeing here, the team that loses the series wins the domination, interesting dynamic for sure, and then the Azir Cave Hardpoint Royal Ravens run away with and win again. Cammy had a pretty good map, or pretty good series on the side of Toronto, but none other than that really showed up too hard. Bance had a couple of decent performances as well, and Methods kind of turned up in that domination. Police car going by, it's like Stratford, I guess. Regardless, match 5 statistics, Chicago Huntsman versus the Dallas Empire. Here we go then. Map number 1, Gunrunner Hardpoint. Honestly, Huntsman ran away with this pretty convincingly, and once again, we see a pretty similar story that we've seen today, domination being won by the team that ends up losing the series. So both hardpoints were pretty comfortable in favour of Huntsman. The second one, honestly, Envoy put on a ridiculous performance, which we'll have a look at just here in a second. And yeah, the search and destroy really could have gone either way. I feel like Dallas probably have ruined missed opportunities here, because if they go in 1-1, go up 2-1 in the Hackney domination, then they've got a real chance in the series. But their Gunrunner Hardpoint and Sir Petrograd Hardpoint just wasn't good enough for the Chicago Huntsmen. Interesting, of course, team dynamic we're looking at right now. So this is the Envoy performance on that map number 4, 30 in 12, absolutely ridiculous stuff. And the main guys over on, Illy and Hook over on the Dallas side, really not performing too well. Crimsix had some stand-up moments, especially in that first search and destroy, but they don't end up winning it in the end. And this is the overall performances from the team then. So Scump hits 100 kills. His S&D play has been lights out. He has the highest S&D KD right now in the entire league over these first couple of weekends. Shotzi and Illy really not with good performances. Like, this is an interesting team, like, dynamic, right? We'll talk about this probably in coming days following the event, but which of these teams is likely to get better over time? Which of the teams is likely to get worse? Probably Dallas have the higher upside potential, but right now they're clearly the inferior team when it comes down to LAN play. Then we had this then to finish off the day. So this is the last match I wanted to talk about in the video, kind of ahead of schedule here. So I'll slow it down just a tad, but this is a really fun match to be a part of. So London Royal Ravens, New York Subliners. We got a reverse sweep on our hands. We got some round 11s, plenty of round 11s today in the arena. A lot of it was super intense. So map number 1, Ramaz Hardpoint. This was the map what Whiskins had absolutely dominated on just previously when they played their first series against Toronto Ultra. We were kind of hoping for good things, and Dylan really had a poor series against Toronto Ultra, a guy that we've heard about being super, super good last season as well. And then MadCat on the Spitfire podcast saying that he thinks Dylan's like one of the best players in the game. When you've got a guy like that, it's going to be tough to beat. And this game really does favour those aggressive SMGs. It's great to see, to be honest. In World War II, it was much more of an AR focused. It was difficult to get too much action with the SMG. You kind of just had to make space for your assault rifles to some degree. However, the way the movement works in this game does benefit SMG players to some degree, and Dylan really did put on a clinic here. And Jerd as well in the rest of the series really did turn it around. Accuracy pretty much did nothing apart from sit in the hill this entire game, but they do end up winning it on Ramaz. Some great performances out of ZooMaa and co as well. And of course, Zero versus the London Royal Ravens, intense matchup, because Zero and Scraps and Zero and Rated, like, they don't necessarily get along from back in those Red Reserve days for sure. So then, this is the overall series scoreboard right at the end of the day, but the comeback started, right? So, St. Petrograd search and destroy, Subliners win it. Honestly, the Royal Ravens probably, there was definitely some missed opportunities here, definitely some rounds that we should have won and ended up throwing away, and Subliners got up 2-0. And it's very difficult at this point to see a way back. But then again, domination has always kind of been a swing game mode. And a lot of times, the team that's won the first 2 maps hasn't won the domination. But this time, Royal Ravens actually turned it into a sweep, as was intended. So Hackney domination, pretty comfortable. To be honest, I think Judd had a pretty damn good map on that one as well. Kind of locked them out. It was a tough game because there's a clear good side and bad side. Like, if you're holding A flag, it's much easier to hold B flag as well and spawn trap them at C. And if you're got that setup and they ever push into B, you can just over-rotate or just OE even overextend, just neutralize the C flag and play around that. And that's pretty much what Royal Ravens did. They actually managed to flip the spawns on the second side, so they got the AB control both times, which is a really key difference on that map because it's clearly the best side. So that was really the key for them beating the New York Subliners in that one. Then they win the domination. They really turn it on in the hard point. Like, this hard point was pretty damn comfortable. Honestly, I wasn't even concentrating half the time because just looked up at the big screen at the front and they were just molly-whopping a New York Subliners. So, great to see. The crowd definitely gets into this stuff to some degree because the Subliners, like, Temp was standing up. I appreciated what Temp did. Like, Temp was, having a go with the crowd, like a little bit of back and forth. Obviously, ended up coming out worse for wear in the end when Royal Ravens did the reverse sweep, but still pretty cool to see at least some engagement with the crowd there because you kind of know what you're going to expect in these kind of series. But yeah, so Royal Ravens end up winning it in the end on that Hackney domination, or Hackney domination and hardpoint. Then it goes to this map number 5. This was super intense. I'm pretty sure that Subliners went up like 2-0 in this. Then we brought it back a little bit to 2-2. And honestly, it went so far down to the wire here. Definitely could have been the other way round here with the Subliners taking this away, but a huge map victory for the Royal Ravens. Some big clutch factor, honestly, on display at the end there. Dylan, I think, had a fantastic play in the last couple of rounds. There were some real hype moments for us to end up winning that, and I'll probably finish out the video with a clip, a video that I took of that event happening in the arena. So yeah, these were the final scoreboards on the whole. Wisconsin has a good series, Scraps has a good series. The kind of, the players you would expect, but Dylan really taken over this one. Definitely the MVP on the side of the Royal Ravens. This is just the Search and Destroy in particular. Dylan and Scraps with 15 kills apiece, would you believe it? They end up walking away with it, and Dylan clearly a crucial factor in the victory. So this is what the scoreboard, this is what the, I guess the bracket looks like right now. So Huntsmen are going to be playing the winner of Dallas. So Seattle Surge, Gorillas still have to play. The winner of that plays Dallas. Then the winner of that plays the Huntsmen. So we've got a few matches to come tomorrow before we see who Royal Ravens and Huntsmen will place. The winner of those goes into the grand final, and that's going to determine our champion. So very, very cool stuff. Just before we finish the video, Hardpoint KD, Wiskins, Envoy, Octane Sam, like these are the big dogs over here. You can pause the video if you would like. Of course, all the links to EasyMac down in that description box below. Scump, Lacefield, Envoy, etc. And yeah, this one for domination as well. Clayster and Bance really putting on a clinic today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new as always. I'm going to, head out to the town now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new as always. I'll see you next time.